Hey, you. Yeah, you. Do not skip ahead on these ads. You listen to these ads and you support us. Just want to talk about Irvine's Auto Repair in Grand Rapids Hybrid, located on off of 44th Street on Stafford. They are the best in the area. Call them at 532-6600 or schedule your service at irvines.com. They are the studio sponsor of this amazing podcast, and we can't thank them enough for supporting us. If you love us, use Irvine's. They're going to get your car fixed correctly, have one of the best Google reviews in the area, etc., etc. Our next sponsor is Oiluber. If you go to oiluber.com, you can sign up as a customer or as a tech. So what is Oiluber? Basically, it's the Uber of oil changes. They will come to your home, change your oil, make sure everything's cleaned up, and you don't have to worry about it. Prices are competitive to any like Valvoline or anything like that. So support Oiluber. If you go to oiluber.com, again, you can sign up as a customer or as a technician. They also are offering jump starts and fuel delivery, and you can do those services too. Again, you can be a customer or a tech. So go to oiluber.com and sign up now. Our third sponsor is Michigan Insurance and Financial Services. Jackie is the agent of the Gig Economy podcast, specifically Jason and Jesper. You can call her at 269-569-6127. Save both of us a ton of money. Saved recent guest Marissa $700 a year. $700 a year. Insane. You can reach her at 269-569-6127. That is her cell phone. Or you can email her, Jackie, at miafs.com. We can't thank Jackie enough for supporting the Gig Economy podcast. Last but certainly not least, Schrotenboer Tax and Accounting, 616-940-10045. Dave will do your taxes for you anywhere you are. Now is the time to do it. All these tax places are filling up. February 1st is coming up, and they are going to start getting really busy. And then you're going to be left with, TurboTax, H&R Block, those kind of companies. You don't want to use them. You want the personal attention of an accountant, and Dave is one of those guys. You can call him at 940-1045 or Schrotenboer Tax and Accounting on Facebook. Lastly, an ad for us. Two things. Go to patreon.com, search Gig Economy Podcast, sign up for Tier 1 or Tier 2. Tier 1 is just to support us, like saying thank you for all the free content. Tier 2, you get an extra podcast a month, you get merch, you get pre-show banner, etc. So go to patreon.com and search the Gig Economy Podcast. Also, we do have merch. If you go to redbubble.com and search the Gig Economy Podcast, you will find a plethora of products that you can purchase with our logo on it. So we don't make a ton of money on that, but we would love to see you, repping our stuff. That means more people talk about us, and we really appreciate it. All right, guys, enjoy the show. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Gig Economy Podcast. How's everyone doing tonight? This studio is sponsored by Irvine's Auto Repair in Grand Rapids Hybrid. We talk about them a little bit later. Tonight on the show, my name is Jason. Whoopsies. Might help to put my fans up there. There we go.
Fans,
or my host. Jesper's in your right-hand corner, and Janet's in the bottom there. Janet all the way in the future from beautiful New Zealand.
Beautiful.
What is the city that you're from, Janet?
The base is New Plymouth, so it's on the west coast of the North Island.
So it's 2:30 Thursday afternoon right now, right?
3 o'clock, gone 3. So
3
it's 18 hours ahead.
Nice. Anything going on in the world that we need to know about?
No, not really. We're sort of following what's happening in the US at the moment. So our sort of parliament's just starting, and sports and stuff.
Nice.
I don't know if you guys follow cricket.
No.
But New Zealand has a little bit of competitive banter against Australia, and India have just beaten Australia in a test cricket series. So
nice. All right, guys out there, if you can share this show, that would be great. Hit the like button wherever you are. Share it on Facebook, like on YouTube, subscribe, all that stuff. Retweet on Twitter. We would really appreciate it. Before we get into housekeeping, do we have any stories that we want to talk about real quick?
Story. No, because that requires you driving. Right?
Yeah, I think at our meeting tomorrow, we may have to circumvent, have a little come to Jesus, like time to do some food delivery, Jesper.
I'm not doing anything. No.
I don't know. Janet's got more work done than you the last year than you, but you're the host of the show.
I know. She can have my spot.
Oh.
No.
Anyways, so I really don't have any stories. I've done gig work. I've done all kinds of stuff, but I just really don't have anything. So I'm going to hand it over to Janet. Anything that stands out for you?
Oh, yeah. So it's a couple of things. One of the things that I mostly, predominantly, we're doing passengers. So Uber X and Uber Eats a little bit. So we're navigating. Now, I've been Ubering here for over a year, and it was only in the last couple of weeks that the penny actually dropped about street numbers and house numbers. I just will drive along thinking how the Uber app actually works quite well here, so you can reasonably find most people. And I just thought how random the house numbers were. And just a couple of weeks ago, I realized there is actually a definite pattern. Street, house numbers, number from the beginning of the street, odd numbers on the left, even numbers on the right. In the situations where they were the other way, the house numbers were numbering from the other end, not the direction I was coming. Man, it just made so much difference in thinking about where you are. If number 68's on the right-hand side, number 50 is going to be further up. But I, used to stop and in the dark get a flashlight out, so and have a look. So that's been pretty good. So, and my other passenger story, which was something which was new, was quite often we get what we chuckle about calling a bottle run. So someone's run out of drinks at home, they can't drive, so they call an Uber. The Uber takes them from home to the bottle store or a supermarket and back. Well, I did a condom run the other night. The guy I picked up, he said, can you take me to the service station? I've got a lady coming around. And anyway, so he got out and he went in and I could see him looking around, and next thing he's up at the counter and he's laughing with the guy, and the guy turned around and he comes in the car. He says, I don't believe it. They've got they stick the condoms behind the counter. So anyway, so I dropped him off and I was just picking up the next lot of customers, and I got a phone call from the same person, and he asked me if he'd left his vape. I don't know what you call them, vape pens in the car. So anyway, so I said, so I took it back and I said to him to start with, I'll just drop it off at the letterbox. And he said, I'll be up for a couple of hours. So anyway, so when I got there, I walked up and I knocked on the door, and he said, I thought you were going to leave it in the letterbox. I left a $20 note there for you. And so I gave him his vape, got out to the letterbox, and out the front of the letterbox through the slot was hanging a $20 note, which I wouldn't have even thought about that it was for me or pick it up. And luckily nobody had walked past, so I got a $20 tip. So yeah, that was a good night.
Nice. I can't believe the guy said he was going to go get condoms. Like, who even says that? I applaud him for being safety first, but yeah. I'm not going to talk to my Uber driver or my Lyft driver. I'm like, hey, I need to go get condoms. Although, why everyone thinks that that's a weird thing. Like, when I get lady stuff for my wife, I'm like, I don't care. It's like, whatever. It's like,
yeah,
But for some reason, some people are like, oh, I don't want to do that or talk about it. I'm like, okay, man, whatever.
But yeah. I've done a bottle run several times. I remember that. And you take the guy down to the closest convenience store and then back again. I mean, I know you've done that too, Jason. So yeah, but yeah, it's a kind of a fun side of it. It was a condom run. That was
he had fun.
Well, hopefully at least.
And then as the story started, he said he had a lady coming around, and of course I went back with his vape to take him. So he did have a lady going around, but I wasn't hanging around.
All right, before we jump into news, just some housekeeping. We have merch now. If you click on the link in the show description, it'll take you to the Redbubble page. That's who we're using for merch right now. We don't really make any money on that. It's very small. That's not our goal. Our goal is just to get it out there, and you can support the show by wearing it. People talk about it, those kind of things. So that's our goal there. Also, we started a called Linktree. I don't know. It's the new thing now, but it's in the description, and that link has all our stuff like Patreon, merch, our website, where you can download the podcast and everything. So that's also in the Facebook rundown. If you click on that, all those buttons will take you to where you need to go for everything Gig Economy Podcast. And then, of course, I want to talk about our Patreon members, which Janet is probably one of our longest. Larry's probably the longest, but Janet's close behind, and we super appreciate her. And I'm honored that you're on the show tonight, and I'm excited to talk shop with you. And then don't forget our Telegram group. We've been dropping like flies. I think people basically after a year, I think they drop out of the group or something. It like just deletes you. And we would love to have some new blood in there. Not that we don't like the old blood, but it's always good to have some people in there. We talk shop, we talk life, post inappropriate gifts at times. So I mean, it's definitely Janet can handle it. She just she just ignores it all, and I blame mostly Sam and John. So just gonna throw that out there. And again, our Patreon members is Keith from Georgia, of course, Janet from New Zealand, Leo from Detroit, Larry from Bowling Green, Kentucky, Samson from Grand Rapids, Miguel from Grand Rapids, and Ron G from San Francisco. We appreciate all your support. We really enjoy doing this, and while you're supporting us with that, it means a lot. So
real fast, wanted to just mention quick about, for me at least, for the Telegram group was always great when we were out driving a lot, at the nights, and it's just it brings this level of community that we didn't have when you were just sitting there alone in the vehicle. You're able to talk to people in between rides and stuff. And I know right now it's a special time. It's a weird time as we're going through this pandemic, all of us. But it's just, we'll be back. It's going to be back to a new normal where we're out driving. And there's going to be more fairs and all that stuff again. So it's going to come back. So just make sure you keep that lifeline to the community, to other people so that when you're out driving, because it takes away the solitude. Let's put it that way.
It sure does. My Uber buddy here, Rob, him and I, when we are working, chit chat quite a lot. If one of us is working and the other one's not, we sort of, keep that open as well. We've sort of tried to start off a group with a Telegram group just for us, but I think there's possibly a bit of a cultural issue, and a lot of the other drivers that have joined up aren't very talkative. So, but yeah, and it's good just to say, with our small community, we can say, the party house at Euclid Street's on, big tonight, or, whatever, or there's an accident somewhere, and which I've seen, comes up as well. So that's well, and, you can talk shop as well, which sometimes you just come across an issue and, it's good. So the time difference makes a little bit of a thing talking into the gig economy group. It's I'm going to bed and people are just starting work, and it just seems a bit of strange.
Yeah, it is. I really enjoy the group because, you got to figure, if you're a gig worker, you don't have a water cooler or whatever, right? You're you're out by yourself. Yeah, you're talking to passengers, but you can't vent to them. You got to, who you going to vent to. And so that's kind of why we created the group. I've been beta testing an app. This is kind of off topic a little bit, but it's about taking your earnings and showing you how much you make per hour and yada, yada, yada. One of the things he really wants to include is some sort of communication tool. And he asked me about the Telegram group, and he said it's tough because there is a lot of burnout with that. You know what I mean? People just aren't comfortable talking maybe, or maybe they join the group and they hear how much we're hooting and hollering. They're like, oh, these guys are like best friends, so how can I be part of the group? So he's trying to figure out a way to create that communication, but not have the burnout that can happen. And then I want to promote, and then we'll get right into that. I know a lot of housekeeping kind of digression here, but I want to promote Rideshare Rodeo. He's a friend from, actually met him on Twitter. He is out of Denver. He is from Michigan, but he has a podcast called Rideshare Rodeo Podcast. It's kind of similar. He has a lot of interviews. It's just him, and he breaks down a lot of stuff, but drops every week on Tuesdays. You can find the podcast, of course, anywhere, but you can go to ridesharerodeo.com. And he also has that website called uberlyftdrivers.com, which has been around for forever. So check that out. And yeah, he's a great guy. He's a hard worker. He's been in the gig business for a long time. And yeah, check out his podcast. We'd really appreciate it. Rob says Telegram makes the night shift less lonely for sure. And there's your next tech billionaire idea, Jason. Industry-based chat groups, water cooler.
So what is that? WTRCLR.com.
If you're my angel investor, Rob, then I'm all in. All right, we're going to jump into Irvine's, our first ad of the day. Irvine's Auto Repair in Grand Rapids Hybrid, located on Stafford, just east of 131 on 44th Street. We can't thank them enough. You can call them at 532-6600 or irvines.com to schedule online. Great Google reviews, one of the best in the industry, and you won't, it's great to go there. Even if you go there for an oil change, they check over a ton of stuff, and if they see a problem come up, they can take care of it or let you know. And what's great is on the app, or not the app, they need to create an app, seriously. On the web interface, you can just decline the service or approve it. It's all done virtually, and you don't have to see them just because of COVID, and the keys are left out. So please support the sponsors that support us. Irvines.com or 532-6600. All right. So where are we at? Okay. First up tonight is, shipped person being a jerk. So for you audio listeners, it says, basically it does a stock text, to let them know that you're shopping their order. Customer says, thank you. Shopper says, no Scott toilet paper today. Would you like Cottonelle? Better. Yes, please. Left with Sam. I don't know what that is. And he goes, then the customer's like, oh, left with Sam. Maybe that was someone in the house. And he's like, you missed milk and paper towels. Worst delivery yet. So now it's already getting a little weird. He said, hey, the shopper says, hey, I was going to drive them back, but I'll have ship refund you. Thanks for the feedback. And he goes, you bet, fuckhead. And then the shopper's like, actually, you can call. Have a great night. So it's kind of one of those, weird situations where it's just it went south really fast. It was a good relationship. And then, I don't know.
But I think obviously there's always more than one way of handling a situation, right? And if people had just been positive and realized that we're all humans and we make mistakes, and kind of, then it would have been much better for him as well, because the outcome would have been he would have gotten his missing groceries and he would have been fine. But no, he decided to take a much more negative approach to it, in which he lost out.
I wish these platforms would allow us shoppers to rate. I know you can't on Shipped. No. Okay, this is how long it's taken a ride on a passenger for Uber. Can we rate our passengers? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah. Janet, jump in, because I literally don't know what it looks like.
Yes, you do. You rate your passengers.
You can't move to the next screen until you've rated them.
Right.
Okay.
Well, we can't.
The whole idea was, and I ask Pete if it actually works, but the whole idea is if you rate somebody 3 or less, you're never going to get matched up with them.
That's right.
But Pete know for sure that doesn't work with what's his name? Ivory. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wish they would do that on Shipped or any of those. We don't get to rate on food delivery. You rate how did it go? It's a general thumbs up or thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Yeah, same as us.
Yeah. So I don't know. It just sucks because that shopper got dinged and he was being super nice and respectful. Even at the end, he's like, okay, well, you can call yourself. He wasn't being mean, but he definitely let him know that he is not going to do that guy any favors anymore.
I think it's an attitude thing, and that shopper had the perfect attitude for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, Sam even has forgotten. What'd she forget? A rotisserie chicken like 2 weeks ago. She like got to somewhere else. She's like, oh my gosh, the chicken's still in my hot bag. So she circled back and dropped it off, and it was no big deal. But man, that guy was none too happy. Maybe he had a bad day. I don't know.
I don't.
All right,
so.
Jesper.
People are just like that sometimes.
That's true.
Do you have it? Do you have a show to show
Yeah.
as well? Okay, so
yeah, I can play. It's really short.
Just real quick. It's a short video, and this is another way for a delivery driver to also act.
This is so gross, by the way. I mean, the video's not gross, but when you, yeah.
DoorDash is here.
Is it going to play out one more time?
DoorDash is here.
What is wrong with people? I
don't know. What the hell? I want to feel like that's a prank, and the Dasher knows the people that they're dropping the food off, but
you don't know that, right? But it certainly feels that way.
Well, do you remember when that guy was rubbing the ice cream on his nuts too? It's like, what are these?
Right.
Again, just throwing a tip out there. If you're a new driver, you should know this. Maybe you don't. There's cameras everywhere. Like every house has a Ring cam or whatever. I have one. I have a couple of them. So like, if you're going to drop food off in my house and you need to take a leak or something, I don't know what to tell you. Like maybe get a Gatorade bottle or what. But if you leak on my property, you're probably going to end up on this podcast. I mean, we'll buzz out your little wanker, but we'll blur it out. But
more about that later.
More about that coming soon.
Let's just say Janet had an episode. So
right, that's coming up later. You got to stay tuned for that. It's worth the wait. It's about midway through the show. So, Janet, you're up. I want you to kind of pick a topic that you've been wanting to talk about, and let's hear about what's going on in Uber in New Zealand.
Okay, probably about a little bit about Uber support. When COVID hit, Uber appeared to drop. They closed the green light hubs here in New Zealand. The support reduced. They put off people, but that's the one time that you actually need more support. And like you can see, we can work from home and we can work all over the world on the phone by computer, which is what they're doing now. So unfortunately, what we're finding here is support is really hard to get. You get very little chance of talking. Most of the time you ring up the support number and it's, it doesn't even get to go through. It's the network has cut them down saying no, not available. And generally it's just per chance. If you try every now and again, you can get through. And then once you get through and you have to make the choices of where you want to go. Is it about your account? Is it about documents? Yeah. Is it, you get there. So you get very little choices and what you want doesn't fit in. So what we're having here are a couple of problems. When we started Uber Eats, there was not enough. So basically our choices that we're working is Uber X and Uber Eats. So because there wasn't many delivery drivers, what they did is drivers like myself and Rob and several of the other guys that we talk to put our names down to do Uber Eats. In the Uber app, you have a filter button so you can choose driving preferences. Our driving preferences are locked. We cannot make any choice. So you should have been able to choose Eats only, X only, or both. So we've been struggling since October to try and get some response from Uber. So you contact them and tell them it's everybody in the area has the problem. It is so they come back with the standard cut and paste answers. Restart your app, delete your app, reset, right down to network resetting your phones, which all of us have tried, and it hasn't made any difference. When I went away on holiday in November and I drove, I wasn't working, but when we got to Auckland, which is the biggest city, without doing anything at all to the app, I actually had the choices just appeared. And not only that, they've got Uber Pet and they've got parcel delivery and all that. As soon as I crossed that demarcation line for the region, back out we were without the choices. And then, but they're saying, oh, this hasn't happened before and we've never heard about it. And so where we've got at the moment is that's passing. It's just they've passed it on. Whoever the initial support have passed it on to hire. So and one of our other issues, we have a support. We have a charge to get into the pickup area at our airport, and so every time our fee's not there. So what's happening? It's a $4 fee. It costs us the payment that we get is we get sort of $18 to $24 depending on how far the ride is going.
Yeah,
and it costs. But the $4 to get into the prepaid pickup area is $4. So every time we get it, particularly myself, and I know some of the other drivers have been doing it, you get to send it back to Uber support every time. At the moment, I've got 4 sitting. I've had number 1, 3, and 4 are still waiting for action. Number 2 has actually been paid. They're saying it doesn't affect it's not our area. You haven't driven to an airport that's got a toll. Well, yes, I have, but it's not on your list. So
it's not automatic, Janet. You have to submit it each time.
Yeah, but it's a prepay. We have to prepay a card. So like in December, and the minimum loading is $50. So we load it onto the card and you only get one receipt. It doesn't receipt you every time. But we can't get through to support. They're even asking, I need to talk to someone. I need to be able to you can't email people. You can't talk to them. You're only going past that first level. And it is so frustrating.
Yeah, I wonder. So a lot of the food apps like DoorDash and Grubhub, you can chat right in the app with support. And it's great because a lot of times you don't want to be on the phone, right? Because you're working, like what you know what I mean. So the in-person chat is really nice, and I don't know why Uber doesn't do that. Like, how hard is it to have a bunch of people sitting at a computer and like chat pops up like, hey, my name's Jason. How can I help you today? And like, oh, you need this? Okay, okay, I submitted it. Thanks. Have a good day. But, I had the same problem when I tried to get reimbursed for one of the Uber Eats orders that the card got declined. So I paid for it. And I had it where I couldn't email them. I had to like go through this on the app to try to find a spot where you could even email them. It was a nightmare. And I just don't know why they don't spend a little money on support. Like they talk about supporting the drivers. Uber support is the worst out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what they need to do.
And when I first started, it was much better. It's sort of that sort of COVID hit time. It's sort of when it, when it's sort of. But the thing, that I each time going through the app that they can't get a handle on, it affects every driver in our area. It is not only me. And you get that standard reply back all the time. Reset your phone, reload your app, make sure it's up to date.
Yeah, like my network settings. No, it's just your stupid ass app. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, it almost sounds to me like they are forcing you purposely to do all of them because they need drivers in the area, and then they're calling it a bug in the system.
It is.
That's what's going on, and so that I think that just talks to the fact that there's so much more going on behind the scenes in Uber than we even ever think we know. We talked about many times too about the whole thing about setting rates and all that stuff and the algorithms, all that stuff. They control it on a completely different level than we think that they do.
But what would be the advantage of them not supporting the drivers? Like what? It's not like we're asking for money that we didn't earn. Like we're just fix whatever the issue is, and
they don't
we'll
have
leave you
to,
alone.
though.
What do you mean they don't have to?
Because people are not yelling high enough. Unfortunately,
well, the problem is, the order that it was like a $65 order I paid on my own card.
No, and
like
I agree with you 100%, and I think they should. The problem is support staff doesn't make money. Support staff cost money. And
well, of course,
and unless somebody yells high enough, make it a big enough deal, they don't have to do more than the minimum. I totally understand that. But you said who's going to yell? What my point is, I was going to stop doing order pays if they didn't, reimburse me. You know what I mean? Right.
I mean, if people keep, if people keep continuing to do the things that Uber's screwing them on, then I guess, you know what I mean? Like,
I was just going to say, unfortunately, I think that Uber is in such a situation, Lyft too, per se, that there's really, again, we've talked about this before, there's so many drivers lined up or so many people lined up that want to do it still. They don't really have to care.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I'm always so ecstatic when I get good customer service from a company. I will support that company. I don't even care if it's whatever, like Chewy for my pets. I order everything on Chewy. Well, it's not the cheapest. Their customer service is great. They constantly are like, hey, I have my dog passed away. I have some food left. They're like, oh, we'll just credit your account. Just donate it. It was special food. And I just love a company that treats I guess that's a customer side. I don't know about the employee side. They may not treat their employees good, but.
Yeah, and the likes of us saying, well, we're not going to do airport pickups. It's not quite if you're at a level where you can see where your pickup is, you can only guess because you can't, it could be house pickup either side of the airport. You don't necessarily know it's going to be the airport. The thing about not being able to turn off the Uber Eats is that when it's really busy, it's a real piss off to be locked in. Somehow you end up with a run. You might get 3-4 eats when you know that there's passengers, and it pays at least 75% less than it does for passengers, because I've done the same run with food, same distance, and the same distance with passengers. And you can't make those choices. And just over the last week or so, I've actually noticed on my app when I am on an Uber Eats, when you're on doing passengers, you can get your next job as soon as you swipe that job on, and there's another job there. It's right on top of you. When you're doing Eats, the next job only comes in when you're about a minute from your delivery. And then I just happened to see I was on an Eats delivery and it came up, you are offline. So the app is taking us offline until we're a minute or so out from delivery. So we can't get any other jobs in that time. And that's
strange. Mm-hmm. That's really strange. So your Eats is not paying as good as Rides?
No.
Okay, so it's kind of flipped here.
Oh, sure has. And the locals don't. A lot of locals don't think about it. Visitors don't know. But we could travel, 5 or 6. I just haven't got the numbers in my head. But we can travel to the next suburb, which we would get paid. We could get paid $12 to $14 if we were doing passengers. We're lucky if we're making $8 on Eats for that same distance. However, the thing about the Eats is if we were sitting doing nothing and we were waiting for passengers, it definitely fills in. If you can get $4 $5 jobs, that's $20 you've made in that hour. But yeah, it's a bit of catch-22. And I was actually thinking the other night, there's been a little bit on the Telegram group, but also in the rideshare groups about people not accepting jobs that are only paying $5 or not taking jobs unless they're making $8. We don't get tips. Tipping, we do, but tipping is not in our culture. So that's not going to build up our extra. If we didn't take jobs that were under $7, we wouldn't do anything in the Eats. So we wouldn't be doing it. So, and if you get some short jobs and they come quite quickly and they run well, yes, you can take $24 gross. You know, you got all your expenses to come off that, but you can do it. And drivers in some of the cities here, they sort of talk about, oh, you know, I've turned down, you know, 4 or 5 jobs because they're not surge jobs. Well, we really get surges here, Friday, Saturday nights, maybe. Again, my theory about taking the small jobs, and I take everything, is that it repositions you. So you go from one side of the city to the other. It seems to be not the best for finances, but hello, you're on the other side of the city and you pick up a $15, $20, $25 job because you're on that side. So you got to take the good with the bad.
Question, and this is stupid Jason here. Is the money the same there? Like when you say $7, is that equivalent to American dollars?
No. It's I think it's about 2/3. So just as a thing, with the Patreon, it's $15, 15 American dollars. I pay nearly 18.
Oh wow!
So 18 New Zealand dollars. So I think we talked once a while ago. There was your cancellation rate. What do you get? $2 something?
It's 5.
Yeah, 5.
Or although right before pandemic, they were changing. I think it was Lyft. They were tiering it depending on how far how long you waited.
See, I mean, one night I drove 10 minutes I drove 15 minutes. I got to the gate. It was cancelled while I was in my waiting time. I got $3.60 New Zealand dollars.
Okay, so that typically is what we get minus Uber's fee. So it's $5. You take the fee, at least depending on what.
So it's the same, yeah. So it's $3. It's the cancellation fee for the riders is $5.
Yeah, well, so you said $7, so I'm thinking in my head, like, to me on a DoorDash, like during the week for lunch, a $7 to $8, I would take that all day because you're not going to see those huge orders during the week. But $7 or $8, that's $10. That's going to be $10 or $11 for us.
Right.
Okay, so 7 is like 3 for us.
$5.
One American dollar. $1 American is 1.34 New Zealand dollars. So I just looked it up.
Yeah, fair.
Well, I mean, there is an advantage. I mean, yes, if you want to stay busy, you can stay busy. Like, I run 3 apps for food delivery, and because I'm not going to, like, I could stay on DoorDash and take $3 and $4 orders, right? And I could stay busy the whole time, but is that the best use of my time? Or is it for me? Like, I wish I could, like, I should do a test, like 1 week, just take every DoorDash order I get, don't use any other app, and then the next week go back to my system where I'm like, okay, I'm like jockeying for position, decline. Oh, $15 order, I'll take it, and just see how much I would make. But yeah, I could stay busy. When anytime I can stay busy. So
there's definitely times for us when being able to turn that filter off or use the filter and choose just to do Uber X would be would work out anyway. Well, we're working on it. So I keep encouraging the people in our Facebook group. There's now 13 of us, and even I just keep going back and saying, please keep going back to Uber. Please ask to be paid. They might refuse you the first time. Go back again and ask. And I've actually been, except for these last 3 that they've moved on to higher powers, I have always been paid. So
yeah,
that's good.
I want to see. I need to see more New Zealanders in our Telegram group. That is your job for the next 2 weeks. You need to get one more person in there. Come on, you can do it.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, Jesper, you're up, buddy.
So I'm talking about this pretty grisly story about a driver who got killed on dash cam. So very, very it's just a horrible story. There's no video or anything on this one, but the idea is it's an article from Dallas, and basically the whole incident got recorded on the driver's dash cam. It just speaks to the fact that, obviously the fact that he had a dash cam in this case didn't help him, but it was there, and the police was able to use it, obviously, to get the guy right away. But it's pretty bad. So this driver, he's a 33-year-old driver, Joshua, and he picked up a 21-year-old guy at the local Amazon fulfillment center somewhere in the Dallas area. And basically, pretty quickly after that, the 21-year-old guy just got really crazy almost, and he pulls a gun on the driver, and he has him put a blindfold on, and the moment he does that, the guy he takes down his gun, and he takes a knife out, and he tries to cut his throat. He's sitting behind him, I'm assuming. And so now a fight starts, and the driver's now, sorry, the guy who's the killer, he's now stabbing the driver several times. They're driving a little bit at this time, and so they are now in an accident. He pulls into they drive into the side, and whereas the guy who is the 21-year-old now tells the driver to get out of the car, brush off the debris from the accident, tells him to unlock the phone, and then proceeds to now drive over the guy several times back and forth, after which he gets out of the car and now hits him with a something long metal they found in the car. Ends up killing the guy. And it's just pretty horrible, but the interesting part is, after everything is done and the police get to the scene, and at that point they announce him dead, but now they see the dash cam, and the whole incident is recorded, including audio on the dash cam, and they're able to right away get the guy, because so the guy is also not the brightest, but he uses the driver's phone, to check his own voicemail.
What the hell?
I know. And so the police are able to get his voicemail number from there, and pretty quickly able to lock him down, figure out who he's at, and then they go and pick him up. And so he is in custody today, and I'm not sure he's actually been what's it called? Trial, yeah, but I'm sure
that's way down the road.
It'll be an easy trial, no matter, because he's going away for a long, long time. But it was just, again, horrible that had to happen. Great that there was a dash cam to help the police out in this case, but it's just horrible.
Yeah, I know that Carol from Zoom Ride said someone was killed, an Uber driver was killed in Detroit a couple of days ago. I didn't see the actual article, but same thing, like murdered for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean, it's, one takeaway from this. Yes, the dash cam's not going to save your life. If someone's going to kill you, they're going to kill you. But at least your family can have some, peace to know that guy's going to get busted real quick. I mean, so I know Janet has a dash cam. We're going to show something a little bit later for that. But
you just have the engine going. Yeah. I mean, that guy he wasn't just murdered, he was tortured.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like it. I'd be curious to know what the motive of that guy was, or if it was just drugs, or if he was just high as a kite, or meth, or...
The article doesn't say anything about him being on anything. But I mean, he picked him up he was a local, he worked at the local Amazon fulfillment center. So who knows? Maybe he just had a bad day.
The murderer worked at the Oh boy. Yep. Well, If you know anything about the Amazon work conditions in a fulfillment center, dude.
Is that the new going postal?
I mean, I don't know, but I've heard some stories. I know people that have worked at even the one local to us.
Yep.
It's bad. Dude was he walked a lot. He didn't stand and sort, but he did something like picked up errors or something. He had one day that he walked 34,000 steps in an 8-hour shift.
Wow.
That's 18 miles.
Wouldn't need to diet, would you?
And they also have only one bathroom on each side of the 1.5 million square building, one stall for all those employees. Now, what are they even doing there? That seems illegal to me. Like, how do you... Now, I'm sure management has their own bathroom, but literally he goes, every time I try to go to the bathroom, someone's in the stall and there's a line to wait. So there's like one female, one male on each side of this huge building.
That's two. That's not one.
Well, I mean, I got more bathrooms in my 2,000 square foot house.
You have more bathrooms in your car. But no.
Not for number 2.
No, well, I hope not. Jason has a bottle. So
I thought, honestly, what it sounded like with your accent is Jason has a butthole.
I didn't say that. I'd like to point that out. I did not say that.
Nope. It's already on record. You said it. All right. Okay. This literally happened over the weekend. I dropped the food off in Grubhub. You don't have to take a picture or anything. You just like click that you arrive and then you send a text. I always send the text unless I see them walk out and grab the food. If I don't visually see them, I send a text. So it says, "This is your Grubhub driver, Jason. I've left your order outside of your front door." Get a text a little bit later. "You're a little bitch, Jason. Why would you do me like that?" And I'm like, okay, do I know this person? I know the name. I don't know a person with that name. And I said, "Can I help you with something?" Now, meanwhile, these texts are like 5-10 minutes apart. He says, or she, well, the customer was a she on the account. "Did you eat my sweet barbecue wings? It's gone and there's fingerprints from the sauce on the receipt." "Did you for real just hurt my heart like this, Jason?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry. Do I know you? But I definitely didn't eat your wings. LOL." So that was the extent of it. They never texted back. And I still don't know what was up with that. You
shouldn't toss his food.
Well, I only ate one wing. I mean, I thought that was the rule. Like, one bag fry, one wing.
And you certainly did not leave any fingerprints on the receipt, right? I mean, you know better.
Of course
than that.
not. I licked my fingers before I touched the receipt.
You know better than that. It
just was so bizarre. I'm like, I want to know if they were just, I mean, sure they were just messing with me, but I want to know if like it was somebody I knew, or they're going to drag this out for like 3 months and then be like, "Hey, that was me, dummy."
I'm sure they will.
One of the neighbors saw it delivered and thought they'd just get in first.
I don't know. I thought it was funny. I was hoping it would continue, the conversation would continue, but after I also worried, so it's weird because Grubhub's chat is actually in your text platform, so I don't know if they have access, maybe they do, to the texting. Like, it's like Uber's is in chat, so they have data for all that. But I wanted to get really smart ass, but I was worried it was going to somehow affect me and I'd get deactivated or something. But holy crap, we have been talking so much. We're only on AdSpot 2 and we're at 49 minutes, so
it'll be fine.
We need to haul through some of this stuff. Oiluber.com. Go to Oiluber.com. What is Oiluber? They need new technicians for changing oil, jump starting cars, and fuel delivery. So basically, it's another gig. I'm not going to do the oil change. I will change my own oil, but I don't want to, I don't want to do it at anyone else's house, because then if I screw it up, it's my car. So, but I do want to use my awesome jump starter that's been sitting in my car for 2 months. So if anyone needs a jump start, let me know. I will go do it for you. But yeah, you can sign up at oiluber.com as a technician, or if you need service, you can do that too. They've been a huge supporter of this show, and they're doing great. So go to their Facebook page, give them a like and a follow. They're on Twitter. They started their own podcast. Like, I'm inspiring everyone to start podcasts. So yeah, it's been great. It's been a great relationship with them, and I really am looking forward to see how far they take this. So, all right, let's get back into it. Okay, all right, it is time. It is time for Janet's video.
Do you want me to set the scene?
Yeah, do you want to set? Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I got distracted.
That's right. I was called to a pickup at a local golf course. There was a couple of other vehicles, a taxi and another vehicle on the roadway. So I pulled through the car parks and waited for the vehicles to go. And these 4 gentlemen were standing in front of me. And I had my motor running, which meant my Vanture camera was filming. Sorry, I was just ringing you.
Is this David?
Yes.
This is
So I'm going to play it one more time.
Can I speak as this is going?
Oh yeah.
Yes, you're welcome to. Hang on one more second. Because I want to, most of our listeners are audio, so it's definitely good.
Okay.
I'm going to play it one more time.
So in front of my car is standing 4 gentlemen, men. One of them, I think he was actually doing it for the purposes of a taxi that was coming past, but he dropped his shorts, dropped his underwear, and I don't know that actually I would call it wanking.
Sorry, I was just ringing you.
Is
this David?
A bit of, I don't know that there's much sexual pleasure there, but he was definitely dancing with the salami. And yeah,
I think I heard Jason referring to it as cranking.
Well, it's crazy. So you watch this video, and first of all, Janet, so you shook your head, but then you stared a little bit too long at that thing. I was like, do we need to talk to hubby about this?
I was looking for some identification.
Sure. No, like they're all standing there, and he just whips out his Johnson and just starts like diddling with it. I'm like, man, what are we doing here? So you had said you think they knew the driver of the taxi?
No, I don't know that was the driver. I think it was probably the passengers that were in the taxi.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So there was an add-on to that. The guy, the other 3 guys got in the car, and this guy decided he was going to walk. So he had actually walked past the car, and his vehicle was parked a little bit behind. So we drove around, and when we came around, he was peeing. So and
boy, did he pee.
I shook my head, and it just happened that I drove past, and he was outside, probably the rear passenger window behind me, but of course the camera coming from the front actually captured him, and he peed, and I reckon his eyeballs must have been floating. He peed so much, but of course I actually managed to get that, and it was like, oh, you finished yet? And I'll have a look, and oh no, man. So actually in the end he didn't come in. Well, he got in my car, but then another Uber came for one of the guys that was left, so he hopped out and went with them, so I didn't have to deal with him anymore. But yeah,
well, that's good. Is that the craziest thing you've seen? I mean, it's not really crazy. I mean, it's weird. I mean, it's the middle of the day. It's not like 2:00 at the Bob, that's something you see at the Bob, but it's like,
yeah, definitely the first exposure that I've had.
He was probably peeing a good solid 2 or 3 minutes, I thought. It was
oh, yeah, a good couple of minutes.
So this one right here there's really nothing to it. I can just take it. But I got to give a shout out to Leo, one of our Patreon members, and he's in the Telegram group. He sent this picture, and it legit is a restaurant. I'm not sure Fairfax, so that would be probably what, Virginia? Somewhere? Arlington? I don't know. It's a Grubhub order, and the name of the company is Bitch Don't Grill My Cheese.
So I looked it up actually, and it must be a small chain.
Okay.
Because the one that came up for me was in West Harlem, Manhattan. So
oh, really?
Yep.
So what's the premise behind that name? Like,
I don't know.
They don't want grilled cheese, or it's like, is it a place to get grilled cheese or something?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's a grilled cheese shop. But I mean, that's when you go to bitchdon'tgrillmycheese.com, because it does work.
Wait, do you have to actually write the word, the B word, or do you put the asterisk in there?
No, you write the word.
Really?
Yes.
I gotta Google it while you're talking.
I put the link in the lineup. So, but then it comes up and it looks some pretty badass grilled cheese sandwiches. They look good.
I feel like we should reach out for an interview. I don't know why.
You just want samples of the food.
Well, yeah. Well, weird website. You go to it and it just says order now. You don't even
Right.
It does. Okay. Interesting.
So, but and it goes to Postmates.
Postmates. Yep. Yeah, I see that.
Yep. So
grown up grilled cheese. Interesting. Huh. Postmates. That's garbage around here. Interesting. All right. Jackie from Michigan Insurance and Financial Services. Guys, it's time to get a quote for your insurance. You should be doing this at least once a year. And Jackie is an independent insurance agent and can get you quotes on several different companies. Jesper is doing Jackie.
I'm not doing anything right now.
Jackie is the agent for me and for Jesper.
Yep. And
she does a great job. Her cell phone number is 269-569-6127. Or you can email her, Jackie, at miafs.com. She works for Michigan Insurance and Financial Services. But like I said, she's an independent agent, so she can get you several different quotes, which you should be doing anyways. She actually kind of takes the work out of it, and said, you're going to, go and, okay, I'm going to get a quote for Progressive, and then I got to make sure I'm getting quotes for apples to apples, right? I'm getting the same service because they'll send you back a quote that's cheaper. You're like, oh, I'm going to go with them. Don't realizing that they cut your insurance in half, and now you're not as covered as much. So,
particularly after the law change in Michigan last year, you have to get a new quote. You haven't gotten a new quote after that, you need to.
Wasn't the change mostly for old peeps?
No, the change is all about healthcare. It's all about what's included.
Wow.
When with the whole unlimited inclusion of healthcare. So if you don't have don't have a reasoning quote, you need it, and obviously we want you to talk to Jackie, right? But even if you don't talk to Jackie, do yourself a favor, talk to somebody that will be able to give you some numbers for what's included, because if you don't have unlimited health insurance, you may be in big trouble.
Yeah, there's something with that. I don't know, but that's why you pay a professional, just like taxes. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Why are you doing all? You're not an insurance agent. What the hell are you doing? Even dabbling in it.
Correct.
Get somebody that knows what the heck they're doing. So weirdly, Marissa, I think that's Marissa that was on the show. But when I show her name, okay, I'm an idiot. It looked like it was Marlssa, and I'm like. So it's just capitalizing the I. Sorry, I was very confused.
You are
Squirrel
an idiot.
moment. I am an idiot. I've always said I'm an idiot, and I've never said I was smart. But Marissa saved $700 this year. Yep. Jackie did. Holy balls!
That's big money. You take that money, take that savings, and you spend it on a tax attorney, and they're going to save you some more.
I love it, Jesper. Damn it! If that was right before the segue into the tax ad, that would have been perfect. All right, Janet, one more topic, and then call out a couple other things, and then we'll wrap it up.
Gee, just one of the thing I was thinking the other night. Do you, when you're driving, can you trip the traffic lights to go in your favor?
No.
Oh, no.
We'd love to be able to do that, but no, we can't.
One of the things that actually in the early days, one of the young riders, young female actually, she was sitting in the back and she said, "Oh, you can trip the lights, can't you?" And I tried it, and in our traffic lights, in the line that's on the ground is a sensor pad in some of them, not all of them, but when the traffic is predominantly running in one particular way, if you're driving to come onto that, you can actually roll over the pressure plate and it will change the lights for you. So it will change it from green to or from red, it will change it to green. It'll run through the system. Yeah, so it's quite funny because I often sit there and late at night there's us Ubers and the taxis running around, and the taxis always sit back because they're getting, they get their meters are still ticking over, And like they drive through, they're quite happy to drive through McDonald's drive through and, take half an hour to get through with the passengers. And something I've done recently, we get paid nothing extra for the waiting time in the taxi. But yeah, no, it was just it was an interesting tip. And some places it's actually really handy to be able to just and in fact the way the intersection is set up, the line on the where the pressure point is on the road and the line, there is a pole with a traffic light on at the end of it, so on your side. Funny, I can look at your videos because we drive on the left-hand side of the road, whereas you drive on the right-hand side. So it is a bit the opposite. But on the...
Are your steering wheels on the left side too, like ours, or on the right?
No, on the right.
The opposite.
On the right-hand side, yeah. Oh. So the driver's always sitting in the middle.
Didn't you see that in the video, Jason?
Well, I did, but you never know how things get reversed in a camera. So I don't know. You know me.
Because the video that was shown actually on the group the other day with there was a video clip. I'm not sure if it was it might have been Leo that put it up, of the car that drove down the wrong side of the road. It was driving down the left-hand side like we do, and because accidents happen, country roads. There are quite a lot of motor vehicle accidents happen because people come and your instinct is to drive on the side of the road that you are used to. So people go around a corner and then they're driving on the other side of the road, around the next corner. They're on the wrong side and you meet. But it is actually, yeah. So
well, that happens here, but usually they're drunk.
Yeah. And they go on the freeway.
Yeah, true. Oh, we've just couple of nights ago, 2 people were killed who drove 10 kilometers up a sort of an expressway and then collided with a car coming the other way with 2 people. And so the people they hit, but that's a long way to, it was something like 2:00 in the morning or something. So that's really been devastating, really. But so tripping the lights, if you something is worth having a look, because I never knew, and this young woman probably was only she would have been lucky if she was 20, but she had obviously learnt it from somewhere. So I was happy to have a passenger pass on a tip.
Yeah, is that kind of like our cameras here, Jesper? Some of our lights have cameras and can keep the traffic going green if there's nothing on the other side.
You can't trick them. I mean,
well,
it happens fully automatic. Yeah,
they're not tricking them either. They're pulling up and it realizes that there's a car there, and then it makes it turn green.
Sure. Yeah.
But you guys don't get paid anything for time in New Zealand on Uber. Like, we get 10 cents a minute.
You do with a trip. You do when it calculates the trip. You get waiting time when people are slow coming to the car. But I've timed the time it went through and checked what we got paid, and then went to book the same trip, and it's the same. There's no allowance.
Oh yeah.
And one night it took me I was just being soft, and it took me 26 minutes from when I hit the queue. So if anybody asks me, can we go through McDonald's, I'll say I will look for you. But if there is anybody past the order, coming up to the order booth, no, because it's 24 hours, and they sort of are cooking things maybe more fresh, so they're slower. And no, it's not worth my time. I'll drop them off. But
I don't know if you've heard, when I was driving several podcasts I've talked about, I tell them it'll be $20.
Oh,
and I've had people say nope, and I'm like, that's cool. I just explained to them the money thing. Like, I know they don't really care, but a lot of people do. They get it. But if they give me $20, I'll sit in the drive-through line for a half hour.
But I have done that. But yeah,
we have Michigan Street McDonald's, and I used to just say after midnight, no, it's a pure no right away. I've been stuck, Jen, and back when I was still green, I did it once, and it was 1:45, and it was horrible, right? Because at 2:00 is when our that's when the bars come out. And so that's when everything starts. And this was 1:45. I was stuck 54 minutes in the drive-thru, okay?
Wow.
I don't remember that.
54 minutes. And it was like, no, I will never do this again. I lost the whole bar crowd. Everything was gone. That whole night was just shot.
I would have jumped the curb. I would have jumped the curb. Like my SUV sits up a little high. I would have jumped the curb and said, "Hey, we're going to your destination." I'm not getting your food.
I don't think you can on Michigan Street. It's one of those. It's like you can't really get out.
Yeah, I'm sure some of them you can't. But I get so antsy when I get stuck in a drive-thru with passengers, because especially when I'm like knowing what the surge was, right, and thinking like I'm missing out on so much money. But
the other thing is it's stop sharing, because when you get in there, you don't want to be getting pinged for the next job and you're stuck and you don't want to cancel and you don't want to, or decline.
Yeah, because you don't know, like Jesper probably didn't anticipate a 54-minute wait. He's probably like 20 minutes, but oh man, I tell you that even that kind of stuff happens now, like during lunch rush. If I typically won't take for one, none of the restaurants are open here, so all the drive-thrus are exponentially busier already because you can't go in. And you go to a Wendy's and they'll be out to the street. I'm like, I'm not sitting here for $9. I typically try to do like, Five Guys, Panda Express, Core Eatery, those kind of more, not higher end, but more like it's not like fast food. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
So when our Uber Eats deliveries come up, they're all in restaurant pickups.
Oh, are they?
So yeah. So
what about McDonald's? You still go?
You just go into the restaurant. Here in Taranaki, it's not actually, New Plymouth, it's not actually too bad. Parking sometimes in the CBD is a little bit tied up, but the likes of the big cities where they're having problems parking. So they could walk 400 meters to from a park to get their restaurant, and it's a lot of walking. It's a lot of time.
I have to make a comment about your accent. When you say park, it sounds like you're from Boston. That's a Boston thing. Park like that. Oh, Chris said he just delivered 2 Ben & Jerry's a half mile. That customer probably paid $30 for those 2 pints.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they're ready for you when you're ready, when we're done with the podcast, Jason.
Well, they didn't deliver them to me.
400 grams, 400 milligrams of, 400 grams of a pack of Ben & Jerry's here, which is about a pound? I think.
It's a pint.
A pint. You buy it in the supermarket, $12.99. Buying at Uber Eats, $18. Same.
So I don't get. So I did Uber Eats today, which was interesting. My wife has strep throat again, so she was home and she wanted Zoop. It's a soup place that's called Zoop. It's really good. So, all right, we're both going to get the chicken pot pie, right? And it was like $8.50 a piece, right? So $8.50, so that's like $17. After the fees and the tip, it was $29.50.
Wow.
And I tipped 15%. So, I mean, the fees, it's just like delivery fee.
Yep.
Fees. Just that's the item line. Fees. It doesn't say what it is. It just says fees, taxes, FU fee. Like,
Because Uber Eats is relatively new, with that the customers are getting promotions. Spend $1, get $30 off.
Okay.
So that's sort of working. But one of the things that we don't get here, listening to you guys talking about promotions. When the first lot Uber Eats started, I think we got $100. I can't think how much it was, $100 bonus for however many rides we had to do. 10, I think it was. But we never get these, 2 deliveries and earn an extra $7. We get none of that here. They do some
Really?
some of the big city, but we in our area we don't.
I wonder why they don't do promotions. I mean, the whole point of promotions, well, they should do more for the customer, right? So they get to use it, and then the drivers. I think the only reason they do promotions here is because they want to get you out the door. We get a regularly 1.1 to 1.5. It would be like a boost. But that's about it. We don't get any surges anymore or anything like that. Right. So
I'm sure they don't have to. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. They're not. When we get a little bonus, they're only doing that because they want drivers to get out there. Otherwise, they don't want to pay us shit. So
right.
All right. I'm gonna skip one of mine, but this one I have to share. I need a producer. Okay, there we go. It's an Amazon Prime van, and it says, if we all go into another lockdown, just train all the Amazon delivery drivers how to give the vaccine. The entire population will be immunized by Saturday, Wednesday if you have Amazon Prime. Yeah. I mean, it's true. One of the things we talk about when I see people, when I'm delivering to them, they'll be like, there was 2 drivers here earlier in the day. You're the 3rd driver. And I'm like, Amazon doesn't care. No. They don't care how many times they're out there. They're going to make sure your package is there the next day or that day or what they committed to. They just don't care. And people just laugh and laugh. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
We had 3 delivery drivers today.
Did you really?
All Prime trucks. Yeah.
Well, the sad part is like they must shift them like different shifts of trucks, and maybe like the semi came in for your first package, and then a 10 o'clock semi came in for your second one, and then a 1 o'clock semi came in for your third one.
But it's still cool that these are things we ordered yesterday, right? It's like,
I've been really having some thoughtful thoughts. Thoughtful thoughts, is that a thing? Some deep thoughts about
from Jason. That can't be
deep thoughts about the gig economy. About how much, how are we ruining not just brick and mortar, but other businesses by just using Amazon all the time? Like, I don't even look at any other website. I'm like, I don't even care if it's $1 more. Not that I, have money to blow, but I'm just like, it's just so easy. I don't even have to search for it. It's like right there.
I think you can't say ruin, because the problem is you can't ever stop progress, right? You can't stop progress. So the people who sit back and say we are ruining the local economy, they're also part of the problem, because there's always going to be change.
Yes.
And so what happened, and I'm not blaming anybody, but at some point, to some point, the local businesses have to change as well.
I agree. It's just like the taxis, around here, like, right. Hey, you got to adapt and change, but I don't know. I mean, it's not that I'm going to stop using it, but I think to myself, well, like, I'm trying to be conscientious of getting all my deliveries on one day instead of just getting it the next day. But then I'm annoyed because I want what I set for delivery for Monday. Like, it's a week. I have to wait a week for this. Like, I don't need it now, but I want it now. But I'm trying to be more conscientious about having a truck roll up every day.
Here the other day, 2 days ago, I ordered new cables. The kids needed new charging cables, right? So I ordered a pack of 3 of the high speed cables off Amazon. They're $9 on Amazon, right? I can't walk into any store locally and buy 3 10-foot cables for $9. I can't.
Well, you can go to Wish and get them for $25, and they'll be here in about a month.
Well, yeah, but
it was a joke, Jesper.
No, I know, but it's you are correct. I can, but it just. We have to have change a little bit, right?
No, I get it, but I also think Amazon's becoming a monopoly, and
absolutely, they're part of the problem too. I agree.
Yeah, but anyways, I'm gonna skip a couple more because we're running low on time. We're gonna do the last ad, our awesome tax company, and then we'll jump into a couple tips and then get out of here. So, Schrotenboer Tax and Accounting, Dave wants to do your taxes. Call him at 616-940-1045. This is the time to do it, because I feel like you got to book him now, because come February, Ooh, man. I mean, he going to be busy. I'm not saying he won't take you, but he might be too busy. So I want you guys to call tomorrow. Don't call him now because it's closed. But call him tomorrow. Get on the book so you can get your taxes done.
Sure, if you leave him a voicemail, he'll call you back.
Well, of course. Don't call him after the show. Please don't walk away. But yeah, definitely call him 616-940-1045. You can follow him on Facebook at Schrotenboer Tax and Accounting. Please use a professional to get your taxes done. He's going to get more money back for you. Any tax professional, except don't go to H&R Block or any of those. But don't do it yourself.
The latest story I just heard today, which was crazy. It wasn't Schroten, it was another tax professional. But anyways, their story was that it was a small family-owned business, and the IRS said that they were going to have to pay $7,000 back.
Hey.
Right. Until they now went to this other tax professional who went back and fixed it all, refiled for the last 3 or 4 years, and instead of having to pay $7,000, got several $1,000s back again.
I don't even know how that happens.
I know, right?
How can it flips the opposite so far? I mean, I can see like maybe $5.
All the things you don't know, all the things that we don't know, as far as, I mean, the American tax system is super complicated. It just is. So
yeah.
You want to talk, you want to have a tax professional. You just do.
Yeah. Now's the time to do it. You know, I did hear a story. Everyone wants to use TurboTax. You realize TurboTax sent out like 80 million stimulus checks to the wrong people? Like, they screwed the pooch on that one. So here's your big TurboTax company that you want to use for your taxes, and they sent out the stimulus check to the freaking wrong people. So don't use TurboTax, for God's sakes. Chris says he's doing 2 deliveries now. Uchella's downtown and Mr. Beast Burger out of Flanagan's. Yeah, it's a ghost kitchen in Flanagan's, that Mr. Beast Burger.
There's a Mr. Beast in Flanagan's now?
I guess.
Do anybody know what Mr. Beast Burger is?
No.
Mr. Beast was 2020 YouTuber of the year. And all he does is gives away money. And now he has 300 locations nationwide of Mr. Beast. He's
well, I don't care if he's a YouTuber. I don't want to eat a burger from a YouTuber.
Well, he doesn't make them. But yeah, look up Mr. Beast on YouTube.
Okay. Jana's losing interest. I see the steam going out. She's like, I'm tired.
She's got to get to work.
All right. We're getting there. So tip time. So I'll give my tip first. For all you DoorDashers out there, if you lose your card, please don't report it lost until you get a new one, because they will deactivate you. I'm currently deactivated from DoorDash, even though they barely use a red card. Every once in a while, there's an order out there for red cards, and I want to do it. So I thought, I lost my card. I'll order another one. Oh, no, they won't even let you drive. So, of course, I chose the free shipping for 10 to 15 days. I didn't want to pay the expedited shipping for $15 because, like, who's going to pay $15 to get a card in the mail? So now I should have paid the $15 because I probably would be back working by now. So
this one?
Is that from DoorDash?
You want mine?
Yes. No, you probably already registered it.
I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, shit. I should probably get that. We're running a little long tonight, so we're going to skip shenanigans. But one more quick ad for us. We would love you to join us on Patreon. If you go to patreon.com and search the Gig Economy Podcast. We're still working on that exclusive merch. I blame Jesper. But there's an extra podcast each month. We're typically doing like interviews.
Yep.
And we got a movie sent to us to review. And tomorrow we are interviewing the director of it. And it has to do with the gig economy. So we're super stoked about that they reached out to us. But that's going to go to Patreon first. And so when you go to Patreon, you get all that stuff first. You can listen to it, take it all in before it gets sent out to the general public. So we'd really appreciate if you like the content that you're getting and you're enjoying the time with us and those kind of things. We would love the support. So, all right. Any closing thoughts from you two at all?
No, I don't have
no,
anything.
that's cool.
Nothing?
Yeah. If you want to learn about the gig economy, come listen here. Sorry, I was going to say every Thursday at 3:00.
Well, when you're talking to your friends in New Zealand, you can say that.
Right? Yes. Yeah.
So what's your goal for this before the next podcast? You're going to get somebody to join the Telegram group, right?
I know someone that we can ask. So
okay.
Yeah. Between Rob and I, we'll.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just put it on Rob. He seems blunt like me. He'll just tell him, "You download this right now. Hear it. Here's the link."
Yeah, right. Because I live 20 kilometers from the city, which is where Rob's working, and he's now finished work. But yeah, I was thinking today, because I'd sort of talked to him about coming along, and we could have shown you how we can sit side by side, but it's good. He's been an immense support for me, just like you guys have, and
awesome.
that's the thing to build, and being on the other side of the world is no block. There is so much that is in common with us and you guys, so it's wonderful.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks, guys.
All good. Bye.